Welcome back. Today we're talking about hibernation, and honestly, I've always found it fascinating. Imagine being able to sleep through the winter and just wake up months later. Animals like bears and hedgehogs actually slow down their metabolism to survive cold seasons. Instead of constantly trying to search for food, they just store up energy and then live off fat reserves. It's like their bodies know exactly how to adapt to extreme conditions.
Yeah, it's amazing how nature works. What I find interesting is how animals prepare for hibernation long before winter starts. They don't just suddenly decide to sleep. They build up fat, eat a lot more than usual, and get their bodies ready. It's like a survival strategy. If they don't put on enough weight, they might not make it through the winter. So everything depends on how well they plan ahead.
Exactly. And it's not just about sleeping. During hibernation, their heart rate and breathing slow down dramatically. Some animals barely move at all. It's almost like they shut down their system to conserve energy. And the craziest part is, they can go without food for months and still survive. Humans definitely can't pull that off.
True, but in a way, we also try to cope with cold seasons, just differently. We bundle up, stay indoors, and sometimes even cut back on activities. It's not hibernation, but there's a similar idea of conserving energy. Also, some people say they feel more tired in winter, like their body is trying to slow things down a bit.
That's interesting. Maybe we don't hibernate, but we still react to seasonal changes. Still, animals take it to another level. I think hibernation shows how powerful adaptation is. Instead of fighting nature, they adjust to it and survive. There's probably a lesson there for us, too. Sometimes it's better to work with conditions, not against them.
One thing I've been curious about is the difference between true hibernation and just deep sleep. Some animals don't actually go into full hibernation, but they still slow their activity down a lot. It makes me wonder how scientists tell them apart. I read that true hibernators can lower their body temperature almost to freezing point. That's wild. It's like their bodies are designed to switch into survival mode when conditions get too harsh.
Yeah, that distinction is important. For example, bears don't fully enter deep hibernation like smaller animals do. They're more like in a light sleep, where they can still wake up quickly if needed. Smaller animals, on the other hand, almost completely shut down physically. Their bodies use up energy very slowly, which helps them survive without food. It's a smart way to get through long winters when resources are limited.
That makes sense. I guess size matters too. Smaller animals lose heat faster, so they need stronger ways to protect themselves from the cold. Another thing I found interesting is how some animals wake up briefly during hibernation. It's not just one long sleep. They kind of come out of it, adjust, and then go back into it again. That cycle probably helps them stay alive and keep their bodies functioning.
Right, and scientists still try to figure out how it works exactly. There's even research on how hibernation could be used in medicine. Imagine if humans could slow down their metabolism during surgeries or space travel. It could help doctors buy more time or help astronauts deal with long missions. It sounds like science fiction, but it's actually based on real animal behavior.
That's actually mind-blowing. So hibernation isn't just interesting, it might also lead to new discoveries. Nature often gives us ideas if we pay attention. Maybe one day we'll learn how to apply these natural strategies in our own lives, not just physically, but even mentally, like knowing when to slow down and recover instead of always pushing forward.
Another thing I find fascinating is how animals actually choose a safe place before they hibernate. They don't just lie down anywhere. They settle into shelters like caves, burrows, or tree holes. It's all about finding a place where they can stay protected from predators and harsh weather. Some animals even dig into the ground to create a stable environment. It's like they carefully set themselves up for survival months in advance.
Yeah, location matters a lot. If they don't find the right spot, they might not survive the winter. What's interesting is that these places also help them maintain a stable temperature. Even when it's freezing outside, their shelter helps them avoid extreme conditions. It's another example of how animals don't fight nature. They work around it and use it to their advantage.
I also read that not all animals hibernate the same way. Some go into something called torpor, which is a shorter, lighter version. They can enter and leave that state quickly, depending on conditions. It's more flexible than full hibernation. That way, if the weather changes or food becomes available, they can snap out of it and take advantage of the situation.
That flexibility is really useful. It shows that survival isn't just about one strategy. It's about being able to adjust quickly. Some animals even switch between behaviors depending on the environment. It reminds me that adaptability is one of the most important skills, not just in nature, but in life too.
Exactly. I think hibernation teaches us something deeper. It's not just about sleep, it's about knowing when to slow down, when to conserve energy, and when to come back stronger. In a world where everyone is always rushing, maybe we could learn to take a step back, recharge, and then move forward with more strength and focus.
I've also been wondering what actually triggers hibernation in animals. It's not like they just decide to sleep one day. I think it has a lot to do with temperature changes and the lack of food. As winter approaches, animals begin to pick up on environmental signals, and their bodies start to get ready for hibernation. It's like an internal clock telling them it's time to wind down and prepare for a long rest.
Yeah, exactly. Scientists say that daylight plays a big role too. When days get shorter, animals start to adjust their behavior and prepare for seasonal changes. Hormones in their bodies help them switch into a different state, which allows them to survive without constant food intake. It's amazing how their systems can respond to nature so precisely.
And what's even more interesting is how their bodies hold on to energy during that time. Instead of burning energy quickly, they stretch their energy use for as long as possible. That's why building fat before winter is so important. They basically rely on stored energy for survival. It's like they're planning months ahead without even thinking about it consciously.
That's true, and it also shows how important preparation is. If they fail to store enough energy, they might not make it. It's a bit harsh, but that's how nature works. Everything depends on how well they get through the preparation phase. It reminds me that success often depends on what you do before the difficult period begins.
Exactly. Preparation is everything. Whether it's animals getting ready for winter or people getting ready for challenges, the idea is the same. If you prepare in advance, you can handle tough situations much better. Hibernation is a perfect example of how planning and adaptation can help you survive and recover, even in the harshest conditions.
I've been thinking, if hibernation is such a smart survival strategy, why don't all animals go into hibernation? It seems like an easy way to get through winter, but clearly, not every species does it. Some animals stay active and continue to search for food even in freezing conditions. I guess not all animals are built to slow their bodies down that much. Maybe their systems just can't switch into that mode, or it wouldn't benefit them in the same way.
That's a really good question. I think it depends on how animals have evolved. Some animals are better at adapting to cold environments without needing to hibernate. For example, they might grow thick fur or develop ways to keep their body warm. Others are able to find food year-round so they don't need to store up energy and sleep for months. Instead of hibernating, they stay active and adjust their behavior to survive.
That makes sense. So instead of hibernating, they basically come up with alternative strategies. Some animals even migrate to warmer places instead of staying and dealing with winter. Birds are a perfect example. They just fly away from the cold. It's interesting how different species choose completely different ways to deal with the same problem.
Exactly. And body size also plays a role. Larger animals often find it harder to cool their bodies down enough to enter true hibernation. Plus, some animals need to stay alert to protect their territory or look after their young, so they can't afford to just sleep for months. In those cases, staying active is actually the better option.
Right. So hibernation isn't the only solution. It's just one of many. Whether animals hibernate, migrate, or stay active, they all find ways to make it through tough seasons. I think that's the main idea. Survival isn't about one perfect strategy, but about choosing what works best for your situation and being able to adapt.